Today's lesson is lesson 77, found on page 514. The title is Inequalities with Negative Coefficients. We've already worked with the inequalities before. These are the four inequality symbols that we have. We have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. We'll first review the kinds of inequalities that we've solved so far. Remembering that solving an inequality is very similar to solving an equation, where we would isolate the variable by identifying the balancing point of the equation. I would move the positive 5 with the opposite operation, which is negative 5. This is x plus 5, so we would subtract 5, same thing. Subtract 5 on that side. X is less than negative 9. Remembering how to graph this on the number line, we always anchor our number line by putting a 0 in the middle. Negative 9 is on the negative side away from 0, negative 9. I draw a circle at negative 9. Remembering not to shade it in because it does not have the equal sign attached. These are open circles, and these two we would draw a circle and color it in, called a closed circle. So I would leave it open, and then I would have to determine which one of these is bigger. Paying attention to my variable, this side is bigger because the mouth is always eating the bigger side. So this side is bigger, which means this is smaller. My variable is smaller than a negative 9, which means it includes all of the values that are on this side of that number. Remembering how to solve 3x less than or equal to a negative 15, recognizing that that's multiplication because I have a number sitting right next to a variable. Splitting it at the inequality symbol, I would use division this time to isolate the variable because it's opposite of multiplication. I then get the answer as x is less than or equal to a negative 5. If I wish to graph it, I put 0 first and then negative 5. This time when I draw the circle, I color it in because it has the equal sign attached. This side is smaller because it's on the opposite side of that which is being eaten. This one is bigger, which means this is smaller, and again we would shade in this direction. Those are the easy type. Today we're going to learn what happens if my variable on this side just so happens to be negative. That's the only thing that's different about solving the equations versus the inequality, is when I have a negative coefficient, like this. Negative 2x is less than 10. When I attempt to solve this inequality, I split it at the equal sign, and then I would divide a negative 2. Divide negative 2. When I multiply or divide a negative number, it flips the symbol. It is now facing in this direction. And I have x is now greater than a negative 5. So when we multiply or divide a negative number, it flips the symbol. The graphing portion is exactly the same. Putting my 0 in the middle, again I have a negative 5, drawing an open circle. This time x is the bigger one. So I would shade on the other side the numbers that are bigger than the indicated value, which is negative 5 in this problem. Let's look at a few more examples of two-step and multi-step inequalities. Looking next at negative 5x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 4. Splitting it at the inequality symbol, I would first move the negative 6 with a positive 6, and I would get negative 5x is greater than or equal to 10. I would then move the negative 5 by dividing negative 5 because those things are being multiplied. And I would get x is then less than or equal to a negative 2. Remembering that I have to flip that symbol because I divided a negative number. The graphing would start us off at 0, put us over here at negative 2. We would have a closed circle, and x is smaller than the negative 2. Let's look at one more problem, which involves distribution. Whenever we have a problem that has parentheses, we must first remove the parentheses before we finish solving the problem. The last example is 5 times x minus 2, is greater than or equal to 2x plus 2. The first step in solving this inequality is to get rid of these parentheses. I get rid of the parentheses with distributing. I distribute by multiplying 5 times x to get 5x and 5 times negative 2 to get negative 10, which is then greater than or equal to 2x plus 2. Splitting it at the inequality symbol, I continue solving by getting the 2x to the other side to get 3x minus 10 is greater than or equal to 2. Moving the 10 over by adding 10 to both sides. I have 3x is then greater than or equal to 12. Dividing both sides by 3, I get x is greater than or equal to a 4. Graphing it, I would start with 0, indicate a positive 4, draw a closed circle, and indicate the numbers that are bigger than 4. Pretty easy lesson. Inequalities with negative coefficients. Now let's take a look at the asterisk problems for the practice lesson for today.